Hi, my name's James. My full name is James Robert Robinson Ball. I am a young biology student who has just finished his university career. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for making the biggest mistake of my life. Just for trying to make a financial deal with the government of the country where I live. While I was in my most important stages of becoming a professional scientist, February 20th, 2022. The entire country fell silent in a creative crisis after the Russian bombing in a building during the early morning. I could hear the sound of explanations, and hours later, the case went viral on social networks. As the days went by, my country was in a state of shock due to the fear that a possible Third World War would start. Days later, the Russians attacked another city using heavy artillery, causing the death of thousands of people. More cases of the Russians wanting to invade one of the most important cities in the country, causing a civil war that was chaos. The United States could not do anything to defend us, while other countries like Peru tried to stop the situation. It only escalated more and more. I only thought about one thing in my head. My level of intellectual knowledge was so high that I could create a project that could help the Ukrainian military fight the Russians, so I thought for days about what I could create, and I did it. What came to mind was to make an ultra-powerful serum, giving people inhuman strength, making them more resistant. However, I didn't want to use people as an experiment, because things might not turn out well, so I thought about it. It happens to use insignificant beings like the chickens. Chickens can be an important key for my next project. Fortunately, I had friends who already had experience in the subject of science and biology, so one day I showed them a plan about an experiment about creating a serum with a liquid that I managed to give the ability to implement superhuman strength and resistance, using as based on everything, some mutant chickens with behaviors similar to those of a soldier so that they can help the army fight the Russians in the current conflict. The idea would be to use a component that I helped to genetically mutate the chickens to then use the liquid that we will create with a couple of chemical ingredients to form a substance and create the vaccine, and finally do the first tests with a chicken as a test subject. We had planned to use a chemical called mutagen, which will be used for the mutation of the chickens. However, according to some tests we did on the computers, the component would not be very efficient to maintain the process of the new DNA of the chickens. With this in mind, we wanted to use radioactive elements, but we refused because it would be very dangerous, so without any other alternative, we used mutagen to create the serum. We have spent 2 weeks creating and collecting chickens from the farms to use in the experiments, and after a long time, we finished the new substance that will help our government. We named this serum M03. After creating the serum, we made the decision to build some capsules separately where we would protect the patient since, after monitoring the substance, when injecting the patient and he then achieves his mutation, the air would be toxic to him. So to create the capsules, we would put a liquid similar to water to keep them alive until they get used to the oxygen we breathe. In total we will create 4 types of capsules. The first is a capsule with some buttons at the bottom. This will be used to open and close the door. Obviously this will be to keep the mutated chickens. There is a variant of this project, which is a split version of 2 fused capsules. The next one is not used to store chickens, it will only be used to store the substance M03. The last capsule is fused with 4 containers to store a liquid that we will not reveal, but I will only say that it is somewhat more important than you think. Anyway, now we will tell the process that the chickens go through when injecting them with the substance M03. First, when the substance is placed on them, they will go into a state of paralysis. After about 20 minutes, their body will begin to have a genetic mutation. Sometimes they could feel immense pain due to the genetic change they suffer. The patient will become larger. Until 40 minutes into the process, they began to have the round appearance. Their weight increased radically. This is the ADM that will the chickens get after the injection. The 4 circles indicate the new genes of the chickens after seeing them put on the serum. The first is the one that gives the patient greater resistance, which gives them super strong skin, in addition to withstanding all types of physical damage. For example, bullets from weapons cannot pierce almost any of the skin. In addition, that the feathers help the bullets not fully impact the skin. Their skin is so powerful that they can resist burns and can survive explosions, which would benefit the army in combat. Another of their DNA advantages is the performance it entails. This gives them more capacity and motivation to continue in battles, and it is difficult for them to get tired due to the greatest effort. The other is the one that gives a higher level of vision than humans. This gives the patient better vision in the dark and they can see things at very long distances, something similar to eagles, which benefits in missions where chickens use sniper rifles. The last circle is probably the best of the others. It is the one that gives the individual an efficient intellectual echo, and their intelligence is very good as a very smart person. With this, the chickens will be able to drive all types of vehicles without the need to give, for example, driving classes, and even better, since they will also be able to use a weapon professionally on the first use, and the recoil is very manageable for them. In short, this is what we were able to do, but surely this is my greatest creation that I made.